Hello and welcome back. I'm Darcy Darkness, and this is Confessions from the Dark Side, but it's Confessions from the Cranky Side, and we're going to get. Yes, we're still at the Cranky Side, and the crow stuff is still happening, but we're going to get the disclaimer out the way because, well, it's me and I can't be fucking trusted. Come on now. I am so full of so much adult content that some of you may think this is unnecessary, and some of you think this isn't needed. If you are one of those people, then thanks for checking us out. But I will say this only once. If you can't stand the heat, then get the fuck out of my kitchen. Now, for everyone else that likes what we have here, the regular scheduled programme will continue. Shall we get started? And are we ready? So, what did I just say we're going to be doing? We are going to be talking about The Crow. Yes, The Crow. Why? Why the fuck not? There is another article that has come out because the film was released on August the 23rd, and yes, it's come straight to streaming after 3 weeks after because the movie itself, I'm bringing up IMDb right now, the movie cost 50 million to make, and I've already said that the movie promotion probably within close to a 50 as well, 30 at least, for the fact that it was everywhere. Every single advert, every single ad on Twitch especially was for The Crow in the run up to the actual release of the movie. It was literally everywhere, even though no one wanted to fucking see it. They announced it was going to go straight to streaming, like I've already covered, and I had last week. They gave it a Friday the 13th release. Are you fucking kidding me? Yes, they gave our sacred day when we get them throughout the year to the fucking Crow. Now, the amount of money, like I said, it made was it took 50 million to make, and it says here that the budget estimated in brackets was 50 million, which means it was more than 50 fucking million. And the opening weekend in the USA and Canada was 4.6 million. That's all it took in opening weekend. Its gross was under 10 million. It was $9,275,659. Its gross worldwide after obviously being at the cinema for a shockingly 3 weeks before it was released on streaming services, giving it the Borderlands treatment. Borderlands is no longer the worst film of 2024. I've had some doozies, but Lionsgate, the last 4 films that they've released, have not even made half of what it was estimated to actually make these films. So as you can imagine, Lionsgate is taking it, he's hitting it hard. Hitting it fucking hard, mate. You know, you've got a few fucking remakes coming out, so you need to fucking, wind it in, realise that no one gives a fuck, so the story is not there. So the gross worldwide for the film before it came to streaming was $22,146,665. Now, for a film that was estimated, not just it cost 50 million to make and with promotion, it only took in 22 million. Now, that is not a lot of money. Yes, it sounds a lot of money, but when you actually weigh out how much money the movie actually cost after promoting it, it's definitely not even a quarter maybe of what it made. And they keep going on about how it's doing really, really good in streaming services. No one wanted to pay $24.99 in America. There's no fucking way. When you pay $24.99 for a film that was shite, the people literally wanted them to die and not come back. There is some more reviews. Like I said, they've actually added more like descriptions of the movie. It's dark fantasy, dark romance, serial killer, superhero, tragic romance, action, crime, fantasy, horror, and romance. Well, people want the romance to die because it's shit. No one wants to fucking hear about it. It's absolutely tanking everywhere. But there is an article by Forbes, Hollywood Entertainment part of it, and it says The Crow remake ends its theatre run. How much did it make? So we're going to go through this article because it's trying to create a positive spin for the movie when there is nothing positive about this. Have you seen The Crow? What do you think of The Crow? And let us know your honesty in the comments below. I really love hearing about it. Bill Skarsgård's The Crow. Again, Bill Skarsgård's The Crow? Okay then. Not the actual creator himself. Although, would you really want your name dragged through the shitty puddle that the new Crow is? A remake of the 1994 movie of the same name has completed its theatrical run less than a month after release. Yes, that's nothing to be proud of. A new big screen adaptation of the 1989 comic book series by James O'Barr, The Crow, stars Skarsgård as Eric Draven, a rocker who, along with his girlfriend Shelley, AFK Twigs, are the victims of a brutal murder the night before they were to be married. A year later, Draven rises from the grave as a supernatural avenger looking for payback on those who were responsible for his and Shelley's death. Now, This is the original they're talking about. FK Twigs didn't play Shelley, and neither did Eric Draven, wasn't played by Bill Skarsgård. As we know, it was Brandon Lee. They are talking about the brutal murder of a couple that were true love. That wasn't FK Twigs and Bill Skarsgård's portrayal of the characters. That was Brandon Lee. So, in the actual 1994 classic cult movie, The Crow. People, as they said, don't believe in this love between two addicts who meet in court. They basically were sent to rehab for their sentence for whatever the fuck they did. She's not a nice person, and yet he got to come back and avenge her death. She was basically as shady as the people who are the bad guys and the villains in the film, but yet she gets to come back at the end. Sorry, spoiler if you've not seen it, but it's literally everywhere and people want her to die and not come back. Brandon Lee originated the role of Draven in 1994 but died during the production of the film after an accidental shooting involving a prop gun, and he was 28. Yes, we know that. According to the numbers, The Crow debuted in 2,752 North American venues on August 23rd, and it ended its theatrical run on September 12th with a gross of $9.5 million from 297 locations. During its domestic run, The Crow grossed nearly $9.3 million domestically and $6.2 million internationally for a worldwide rally of $15.5 million. According to Variety, The Crow had a $50 million budget before production, before prints and advertising. Like I said, they spent as much money on the film as they did on promotion to sell it. And obviously, they only made $282 million globally after everything. The Crow made its digital debut via premium video on demand on Friday 13th September, a day after the film ended its theatrical run. The Crow remake was met with intense criticism, yes, because it was shite. Director Rupert Sanders, I'm sick of hearing that prick's name. The Crow remake was blasted by Rotten Tomatoes critics upon its August 23rd release. Collectively, RT, which is Rotten Tomatoes, critics gave the Crow 23%. Now that's actually fucking nice. I would have given it 0 if there was a minus rating. I would have gave it that too. It was based on 129 reviews, and a lot of them were fucking paid for because some people were giving it 10 out of 10, and I had to laugh so hard at that. Critics, however, weren't the only people speaking out against The Crow. Alex Proyas, which is the director of the original 1994 film, which was adapted from the James O'Barr tale, wrote on his Facebook in March that he was against the remake, and rightly so. Everybody's been against the fucking remake. The person who actually, as I said before, who was adapting the story actually didn't want his name attached to it. That's how bad it was, because Rupert Sanders seems to ruin everything he fucking touches. We got fucking slated for showing our opinion and voicing what our thoughts about a movie. Like we said, we have kept that universe alive and Brandon Lee's memory alive throughout loving that movie and showing how much we care about the topic, the subgenre, and everything about it. It was huge when he was killed in the making of that film, and it's for his family. Everybody associates Brandon Lee with The Crow, so therefore he's got to live on forever in the fans' hearts and in their minds and in that universe. And then they've came along and tried to put Bill Skarsgård in his place, and he literally just took a massive shite all over it. So yeah, it's not Bill's fault, but he keeps doing remakes and he keeps doing it to himself. So if he keeps putting himself in that position, I'm going to keep talking about it. A month before Proyas posted his feelings about the remake, the director of the 2024 film, Rupert Sanders, Vanity Fair, that Lee was on his mind during production. Was he on your mind? Was he really on your mind when you fucking created that story? When you created the fact that not only were they not very savoury people, but they got to come back, avenge the love, even though it wasn't love, it was lust. But that was on his mind, the love story. A lot of people who haven't seen the original Crow, like before they seen like the new film, had said the original Crow, they don't have much of a love story. They didn't have to. The feeling in the flashbacks and how Brandon actually portrayed Eric was enough to show how much he loved Shelley and how much he would have died for her, because he did die for her, avenging her. That's not the way that the new film is. People are not seeing the same love, devotion and heartache that Eric went through when he lost Shelley, because like I said before, there's a big scene in the original film where you see her being brutally attacked by these monsters, these humans that have basically become monstrous, because humans can do monstrous things, and he wasn't there, but he got to relive when he touched stuff, like very empathetic when he touched like the window, or when he was in the apartment where she was killed and where he was killed. You see and you literally can feel the hurt and the pain that he's going through, and I doubt Bill Skarsgård's going to be able to bottle that. FK Twigs, people are saying, who the fuck is she? And she's a terrible actress. But again, if the story is terrible and the direction is terrible, then that being her first movie debut, that's actually pretty normal for you not to have the best movie debut. But I think they were putting a lot of pressure on her being a celebrity herself because she's a pop star, I believe. Don't know what the fuck she sings, don't know what the kind of music she sings or anything like that. I don't know who the fuck she is. I just know that she went out with Shia LaBeouf and that's about it. And she was suing him for herpes, apparently. Fuck knows why, apparently. He gave her a cold sore or something like that, and she's like mighty offended by it. So that's all I know about her. So people were just like, an unknown actor, I get it, an unknown person, a celebrity already in another field. If they're talented and they had their time to shine, would this have made any bit of difference? I don't think so, because the story was shite, and that's terrible. Am I sorry for saying that? No, but that's my opinion. It's plenty of other people's opinions too. Brandon was an original voice, and I think he will always be synonymous with The Crow, and I hope he's proud of what we've done. That was what Rupert Sanders says that he hopes that Brandon is proud of what he's done. No, yes, he's very, very proud that you came along, dropped your trousers, and took a massive shite on his work in his last movie that he did, and this movie that he actually was incredibly proud of, and he worked incredibly hard to encapsulate everything Eric Draven was in that character, so he could actually bring it for the fans who have read the graphic novel and to just the fans of the graphic novel and that universe. Yet, he failed to. And are we surprised? No. That was the article talking about how shite the movie went and how shite the movie is continuing to do. It has all the it's had more drama around the movie than it actually has anything else. Again, one of the characters is called Cronus, which is from Greek mythology. He's got his stories mixed up because Cronus was a Titan, the king of the Titans. And when I heard that they brought the guy in, obviously the guy from 30 Days a Night, who plays an amazing vampire, he always plays bad guy, and he plays the bad guy incredibly well. But they didn't need a supernatural aspect when they were already dealing with life and death and avenging from beyond the grave already. There was already a supernatural aspect to the film. They didn't need to bring in what looked like a supernatural entity as well that's literally controlling the living and the dead, but he also controls the living because he needs things from the living like souls, etc., like a soul eater or collecting souls for a toll, for example. That didn't need to be in the fucking film. That has nothing to do with the film. That was Rupert Sanders and whoever thought that was a good idea to kind of mesh the worlds together. It is not what it needed, and all it's done is draw everybody away from the actual original story of it. It's actually true love never dies. Real love never dies. Was there real love between his depiction of Shelley and Eric? No, because it was a bunch of drug addicts who met in a court-forced rehab that they break out and have sex and get stoned. And I'm sorry, that is not a love story. Maybe it's a love story with drugs, but they've got more of a love story with the drug and being addicts than they actually do with themselves. What did you think of The Crow? Have you paid $24.99? Have you watched it elsewhere? Are you looking forward to it when it comes free to stream? Are you looking forward to the other movies that are coming out by Lionsgate that are reboots, reimaginings, and holy fuck, not again? We are not looking forward to the next few years of Lionsgate. I'm not saying that it's not just Lionsgate. Lots of production companies, they're remaking, reimagining, rebooting already good movies to put their spin on them for now. But they don't always do that. They don't manage to capture it, but they seem to manage to shit on it, which is incredibly frustrating for people who actually enjoy the originals, still love the originals. It gives us plenty to talk about here on the podcast. So it does, and makes people laugh, and we get much, much, much more entertainment from me losing my shit constantly and having my passionate rants and my passionate episodes here on the podcast, which have been entertaining for most. And finding out that people like it when I have my little rants is even better. If you could have one wish in Hollywood for them not to do something, what would it be? And you know what mine is: stop with the reboots and the remakes and reimaginings and stop calling them a different fucking name. It's a fucking reboot and a remake. It's not a reimagining. The reimagining of The Crow, look what that happened. You just took a bunch of random shit and stitched it together and hoped for the best. And I have nothing else to say, but if you want to watch the movie, then please drop me a DM on Instagram or come on to Behind the Mash Reviews actually and speak to me on Twitch or on Instagram and let me know, because I'm going to do a watch party when we can stream it so we can all judge, mock, and do it together. Yeah, that would be great. Have a watch party with like-minded individuals who can watch it and support each other through this mess. And that was The Crow. Again, the Cranky Side. From the Cranky Side. From a very cranky Darcy. Let us know what your reaction was at the news and everything that's went along with it. I really want to read the last probably review for me. Will it be the last review? I've not went through them all. It seems to be that the review has been 4.6 out of 10. So we went from 10 out of 10 to 8 out of 10, now to 4.6 out of 10 from 17k of people. So the majority, we have 8.7 that percent of the vote is giving you 10. So we've got 5 and 6s, but there is more than 17% of people that have given it 1 out of 10. I think I got to 5 and 6. I never even got to 7 and 8. So let's just see. We've got 14.8 for the 5s. Actually I've read that, so we'll go for 8s actually. User reviews. I'm actually trying to do like the most recent review date. Yeah. So we have some called Crimson Armor, and all it says is, this is why something should never be remade, and they gave it 2 out of 10. The 2024 Crow movie had the potential to be a dark and captivating tale, but unfortunately it falls short on multiple fronts. From a poorly written script to the lackluster acting and questionable ideas, this film is a disappointment for both fans of the original and those looking for a quality cinematic experience. The writing in this movie is one of the most glaring weaknesses. The story lacks coherence and fails to engage the audience on an emotional or intellectual level. Plot points seem haphazardly thrown together with little thought given to pacing or character development. Having two junkies as the leads was a recipe for disaster from the beginning. The dialogue is often trite and unconvincing, making it difficult for the viewer to connect with the characters. Exactly. Trying to add poetry and love echoed scenes from The Crow 3, and everyone knows how that ended up. There are moments when the story veers off onto tangents that add nothing to the overall narrative, leaving you wondering what the point of it all is. Yes, I, along with most of the Crow fandom, were wondering where the story was going. Why is it going, and when is it going to finish? The acting is equally disappointing. The cast seems to be going through the motions, lacking the passion and intensity needed to bring these complex characters to life. The lead actor fails to embody the brooding and tortured essence of the Crow. I agree, coming across as wooden and uninteresting, almost as a weakling or a crybaby. Yes, he got a very emo vibe. That's what a lot of people kept saying. He had this really emotional, it wasn't emotional like he had lost something. It's like he lost his keys or his phone. It was more not like he lost the love of his life, because she wasn't, in fact, the love of his life. It's as if the actors were simply reading their lines without truly understanding the depth and complexity of their roles. Agreed. Twigs, I have no idea why she was even doing what she was doing in this movie. It just felt wrong, as if the casting director was either drunk or not paying attention. She did not embody the Shelley we saw in the original or the book, who came across as sweet, kind, if not angelic. An incredibly bad decision. In terms of the ideas, the movie is a mess. It tries to be edgy and dark and fails, no doubt, but ends up being gratuitously violent, overly stylized without any real substance. The concept of The Crow has always been one of revenge and redemption, but in this version, those themes are barely explored. Instead, we are treated to a series of mindless action scenes and an over-the-top special effects that do little to enhance the story. The movie also fails to bring anything new or fresh to the table, relying on tired tropes and cliches that have been done countless times before. The cinematography and production design are also underwhelming. The director seems to be more focused on creating a visually flashy film rather than a compelling story. As a result, the movie feels hollow and lacking in authenticity. In conclusion, The Crow 2 2024 is a major letdown. With its poor writing, bad acting, and terrible ideas, it fails to live up to the expectations set by the original and leaves much to be desired. This is a film that will likely be forgotten quickly, I hope so, and one that I cannot recommend to anyone looking for a quality movie experience. We all said this from the beginning, that it should not have been remade. We were right. Well, that review is similar to how I feel and how I have voiced for the past year on here, and over a decade, basically, of when you find out that for almost 20 years that they were actually going to remake this. It was a bad idea then, it's an even worse idea now, and the end product, well, you know how I fucking feel about it. Everything in that is pretty much what I've been covering, so Crimson Armour is similar to how I feel right now, and they put this post up today. So if you want a laugh, please read the comments on IMDb, because they will make you chuckle for hours, and I absolutely love it. If you like content like this, remember to go out and check us out at Confessions from the Darkside on our social media platforms that are Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Amazon Music, Spotify, and Buzzsprout. Let us know what you think over our social medias. Let's get chatting about this topic, all the topics. Let's grow our community, spread how awesome we are in the horror community and how amazing our community can be. If you want to get to know us as individuals, I am Lady Darcy Darkness, and my channel is Behind the Mash Reviews. Yes, it's a pain in the ass spelling. Yes, I love it. Everybody hates it. Not changing it. I have a YouTube, an Instagram, and a Twitch. You can come over to Twitch between Mondays and Thursdays and hang out while I play Dead by Daylight. At the moment, it's my game of choice. We're coming into the Ember months, and we are in the Ember months. We're coming up to October, and it's a game about being chased by a killer, or you're the killer tracking down people. So if you want to see that and have random outbursts of me and my Darciness, then you can go over there to Twitch and see that, and you can also see shorts on YouTube if you want to see a taste of it, should I say. Lunar has a YouTube and Twitch and an Instagram, and his channel is Lunar X Rising, and he is also affiliated like myself. Well done. If you need to reach out to us at any point, you confessions from the dark side at gmail.com. You have me, Lady Darcy Darkness, which is Behind the Mash Reviews at gmail.com, and Lunar is Lunar X Rising at gmail.com. And like I said, this is Confessions from the Cranky Side, and this is the last, I think, Cranky Side we'll get, which I feel quite emotional about. But no doubt there'll be plenty when I actually review the film myself completely. It's been a journey to even get my head around actually watching the movie. But as I said, I would much likely prefer to watch it with people, so I can get how other people are perceiving the movie too, than enjoying it. Probably not enjoying it, but I like to watch movies with my community, and you can come over to Behind the Mash Reviews, Darcy Darkness's Discord. And again, if you would like to be added to that, you can message me on Instagram, and you can give me a shout out on Twitch, and I will give you the link to the Discord if you would like to watch. And that was me, Confessions from the Cranky Side, Crow update, September 2024, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.